Okay, hello. This is Radiance Thompson, and today we're talking about how you can get to your next level faster by really getting in touch with yourself, understanding your habits, and how those habits create certain uh, patterns of behavior that may cause you to hesitate on making decisions that would allow you to get to your next level faster and trust yourself more. So, I actually did this live last week and I didn't press. If you're on StreamYard, you understand that there's certain buttons you have to press in order for you to be on stage. So I'm redoing this live for us to get back on track. So let's get started. So, I know it feels icky being in your head. I know it feels icky to second guess yourself and how you should show up for your business. And I know there's times where you're like, okay, well, is saying this too much? Or is being your authentic self not enough? And you have all of these wonderful ideas. And I know many of you are entrepreneurs that have a message to share, that have ideas that you want to follow through on, and people that you want to serve. And often, those ideas that you have will showcase a part of who you are and allow you to help more people. However, deciding to show up as all of you in your content may make you second guess yourself, and your fear of being seen may start to tug on those feelings of not enoughness, or those feelings of am I being too much, all at the same time. And you'll question if perhaps if you show up a certain way, if you show up as your authentic self, if you show up as all of you, if you'll lose certain clients, or even all of your clients. And it makes you question if you show your audience who you really are, if that will be okay. What will be the ramifications if you show up as your authentic self? And there's elements of you that are missing from your essence, that are missing from your brand when you do this. And I know that you're wanting to come out of your quote unquote closet because you're tired of being who people want you to be. And I have been there. I understand that frustration of placating to others' emotions, placating to what people expect you to be, and not truly being who you are. And at the same time, wondering how people will receive you when you are being who you really are. And maybe for you, this means you're a coach that works on all the back end stuff. Maybe you work on ads. Maybe you work on building automation and funnels. And you do all the back end work. Yet you want to show an element of who you are more in your content. And you're wondering how that will be perceived because it's not what your audience is used to seeing from you. Maybe you're a business coach and your brand is very one, two, three, methodical, very structural, and there's not a lot of woo in your branding. Yet you know there's a lot of woo in who you are. There's a lot of spiritual essence in who you are, and you want to showcase more of that. And you're wondering how that will be received. And perhaps you're someone that wants to talk more about how you truly feel about certain topics. And you know that the peers and the circle that you are in won't agree with a lot of what you're saying. And you're wondering if certain friendships will fall to the wayside, or if you will lose certain relationships altogether just because you've said how you truly feel. And how will this affect you financially, especially? Will this affect your bottom line? Will this affect your ability to continue to make the money that you're making? Or will this affect how you spend your time? Will you look or sound funny? And I know myself, and I know many of you have tried to get out of your head. You've tried to overcome this fear of being seen, and you've tried to overcome these people pleasing habits. And you've probably looked in the mirror at yourself and you've said, okay, um, I'm going to do this. You're saying words of affirmation to yourself. You're looking at yourself in the eye and you're telling yourself, you've got this. And while doing the mirror work is great, saying words of affirmation for yourself are great. Louise Hay, her work is wonderful. Brene Brown, her work is wonderful. However, if you're doing mirror work and if you haven't challenged the beliefs that come up while doing the mirror work, if you're saying words of affirmations for yourself and you hear that subtle, sometimes it's loud voice that literally counters the affirmations that you're telling yourself. If you haven't challenged those beliefs, if you haven't dug deeper into why those words are coming up to counter the things that you're affirming yourself to want to have, to create for your life, if you haven't countered those beliefs, if you haven't done the healing around the emotions that make you feel like the world is going to collapse on you if what you want doesn't happen for you, if you haven't gone to the root of the overthinking and the spiraling into the brain drama, if you haven't found a way to reconcile with your inner critic that's looking back at you when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, doing those affirmations and telling you that, hey, those words sound great, but I really think that you're full of shit. No amount of mirror work, no amount of mantras, no amount of motivation will catapult you into making the decision to show up for your audience as your authentic self. No amount of conscious work, I should say, just saying the words will help you overcome that until you actually be the words. And the reason why that is because your logical brain knows that you're worthy of the accolades that you have achieved to this point, up to this point. Your logical brain knows and wants to believe that what you're saying is true. Yet there's a part of you, of your unconscious, that focuses only on your perceived shortcomings. And I want to ask you to dig a little deeper and ask yourself, why is it so easy for you to focus on the negative aspects of yourself instead of the positive outcomes of what could potentially happen when you show up as your authentic self? Because not making the decision to show up as your full self, not trusting yourself to take the perceived risk of showing the world who you really are, is making a decision to reject yourself first before others can reject you. And making yourself small, hiding parts of you out of fear of rejection. And as you continue to do this, what you pay attention to grows. And if you continue to pay attention to the possibility of being rejected, a mechanism in your brain called confirmation bias will selectively look for reasons to justify why you deserve to be rejected for being all of you in your content. Why you deserve to be rejected for being all of you as you show up, when you're writing your posts, when you're taking risks on implementing ideas in your business, when you're about to launch your program and you don't say a certain thing because you're wondering if it will be too spicy. Perhaps you even get to the point where you delay doing things that you know you should be doing. Delay making decisions because of not trusting in your ability to hold space for the outcome, even if it's an outcome that is something you don't want to necessarily have. So remember that you can always use your ego to your advantage. So remember that your brain will automatically look for ways to confirm from your outside environment that what you're thinking, what you're feeling is correct. So if you tell your brain, I'm going to be rejected by XYZ when I do this, or this person is going to reject me, or this group is going to reject me, your brain will look for ways to confirm that reality for you. So instead of giving your brain fuel to look for things that you don't want to have happen in your life, give your brain, give your ego what you want it to look for. So, for example, if you want to be accepted, if you want your great qualities to be seen, to be heard, to be recognized, if you want to feel worthy of notoriety and attention without feeling like you're a fraud, instead of focusing on all the ways that you're a fraud, focus on all the great qualities that you have and why you're the shit. And that's what I do. And that's what I did actually when I went to Sheffield the other, day at the rave that I went to for seeing Armin. Oh my gosh, I had such a good time. And I'm bringing up this example because I had already put a limitation on myself. This is the first time I've actually gone to a rave by myself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to look stupid by myself. Well, guess what? I found ways to confirm why I look stupid. But then I thought, okay, why don't I just have a good time no matter who's watching? I had like literally dropped everything in my purse. And then, I said, oh my gosh, Ray, you look so stupid. But then I was like, you know what? I'm having a good time. And then the more I just allowed myself to be, that's when people came up to me and wanted to have fun with me because I told myself I'm going to have a good time. I told myself, hey, you can have a good time and dance as if no one's looking and be the shit in your eyes. And that's what I became. I gave my ego the fuel it needed to confirm a reality I wanted to have. So you can do the same thing. Give your ego the evidence of how you've overcame challenges. What qualities did you use in order to overcome those challenges? And since your fear perhaps is being seen, what qualities do you have that you can selectively pay attention to and use your brain confirmation bias, use your ego in order for you to selectively look at those qualities and magnify those qualities and how you're able to overcome your fear of being seen, your fear of perhaps looking like an imposter. Magnify the essence of how you've overcome so many challenges up to this point and the qualities that you use in order to overcome those challenges. And the reason why you need to look for evidence, the reason why you need to give your brain the fuel that it needs in order for you to pay attention to the things that will help you achieve a desired goal is because that energy that you use to overcome a certain challenge, that essence, those characteristics, the embodiment of those characteristics is an energetic frequency, it's an energetic blueprint that you can always tap into. Why? Because the fundamental law of conservation of energy says that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, it is simply transferred from one system to the next. So that energy that you embodied in order to overcome a certain challenge, those qualities that you have that have been not only recognized by yourself, by others as well, perhaps, they're still there. You have to selectively choose to gather that evidence. And this is what Nero calls his trust bucket, where you do the things that you know you need to do, and you don't do the things that you know you don't need to do. And it builds that self trust. So, in selectively paying attention to the things and qualities that help you, and selectively choosing not to pay attention to the qualities that you feel will be rejected, you're building that self trust. You're making a conscious decision to trust more in you and to pay attention to the qualities that will help you get to your next level faster. So know that the raw transformative emotions that you use to overcome any perceived hurdle is always available to you. And you don't have to allow your inner approval seeker, aka your people pleaser, to placate to the emotional needs of others. It's not your job to supply their emotional needs by diminishing yours, by diminishing your light, by diminishing your authenticity. And you don't have to put how other people think and feel about you on a pedestal above how you think and feel about yourself. You don't have to sabotage. Look, oh my gosh, excuse me, I burped. You don't have to self sabotage your authority and waste time playing small and dimming your light, slowing down your progress toward getting to your next level faster because you're wondering how people are going to think and feel about you as you continue to show up and allow yourself to be seen. Know that when your vision is nudging you to move in a certain way, when you're being guided, that people that you're meant to help shouldn't have to keep waiting on you. And this is something that I've had to tell myself as well. So I'm not telling you something that I haven't had to have that inner conversation with me as well. Like, there are people that can only be helped by you. There are people whose mission in life won't be accomplished unless you are there to guide them. Think about that. We're all here for a purpose to help each other do something. And if you don't choose to embody the confidence, if you don't know how to unravel all the reasons why you aren't believing that you're capable of being seen for the gifts that you bring to the table, if you don't get to the root of why you hesitate on making that decision to write that post, then there's someone that's going to not fulfill their purpose because you don't know how to heal and fulfill yours. So let's work together one-on-one in my private coaching container, and I'll help you progress faster towards your goals so you can take intentional steps daily without allowing overwhelm and doubt to derail your focus. I'll show you how to take aligned action toward getting to your next level when it comes to your business or being a leader in your community without allowing uncertainty and unworthiness and lack to waste your time and self sabotage your efforts. And we'll identify self sabotaging habits and behaviors so you can take swift, aligned action towards your goals and get to your next level without getting in your own way. You'll create unwavering self trust so you can make those quick decisions that you need in any situation. And your body will shift from tense, tight, and stressed, perhaps in your shoulders, perhaps in your neck, perhaps in your stomach, to feeling flowy, strong, and exude more confidence when you're moving forward towards your goals, especially when you're taking uncomfortable actions like showing up as your authentic self for your audience. Remember, the world will embrace you fully when you make the conscious decision to do the healing so you can embrace yourself fully. And yes, you can do this by yourself, absolutely. However, you can get there faster by working with me one-on-one on your healing journey. So reach out to work with me one-on-one, and I will have the link in the comments to apply.